Hey, before we get started, I thought it was only apt that I
Got the
s-
Stella.
started off the right way, right?
Oh yeah. Love that. I'm luckily
Yeah,
I don't have it with me, so
it's all good. It's probably too early. Honestly, it is too early for me to drink. It's like 11 a.m. But
love that.
that that I had to do my research. Well, hell yeah, Ben. Man, thank you for taking the time to do the podcast. I seriously appreciate it.
No, no worries, mate. Thanks for having me. Yeah, been looking forward to it, to be honest.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, this has been I don't know if you would know this or remember, but I actually tried getting you guys on the podcast way back in 2019 when your first record dropped, or the second one. Um,
Is that Bound in Fear?
yeah, Band of Fear. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh man, sorry, I missed that. Apologies.
No, no. Hey, sometimes you go through PR people and they don't get back to you, and then something gets lost along the way. But here we are, man. Here we are
Yeah, here we
doing
are.
this. So, kind of like I told you, man, the thing that I like to start off with on the podcast here is your personal heavy metal history. So those bands and records that you remember that kind of really resonated with you and kind of got you into the genre to where you're at now.
I think mainly like Green Day and stuff like that. I think they were the first off the bat, like kind of that punk, kind of rebellious, that really was sort of where it started for me. Like, is it Dookie, that album?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like one of the first albums I ever bought. And then I remember going like around my grandma's house and she had a bunch of these vinyls. She had like Black Sabbath, Linkin Park. And I remember I went in there and she put on Hybrid Theory and I just sat there and I just listened to the whole thing. And I think everything
Wow.
just changed from then. Do you know what I mean? It's just timeless, man. Timeless record. So yeah, I think it sort of started there and then kind of went into a bit of the heavy stuff. I don't know, I was pretty late to it to be honest. Like I
Yeah.
think I was like
Hey, that happens.
15. It's like 15, I reckon. And then I got
Huh?
into like I think I got dropped straight into like the last 10 seconds of Life and Black Tongue.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
So it just
that's
kind of
quite a jump
jumped.
from Linkin Park. Yeah.
And obviously like a bit of like Asking Alexandria and stuff, but yeah. What about yourself actually?
Yeah, I mean, so I also started with punk, more so on like hilariously enough the British punk stuff. Like I was very into the Damned,
Oh
Sex
yeah, sick.
Pistols, all that kind of stuff, and then I got into the more American side of it, Ramones and all that.
Mm,
Um, and then I graduated to like hardcore. So I got really when Hate Breeds Perseverance came out, I always tell people like that's the record for me that got me into
yeah.
metal. I saw a commercial for it. I was too young to buy it. I had to beg my older cousins to go buy it for me because like we have those little parental advisory things here. So if you're under 18, you can't even buy the records.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Now you get it for a Red Bull.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of crazy. So that's where I kind of started, and then like obviously, yeah, you go kind of off the deep end, especially when I was around like file sharing just kind of started. So like I
Mm.
could just get whatever I wanted and didn't really realize it when I was young, like the repercussions of like,
Yeah, like
pirating
LimeWire and
music.
stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. That was a big one for me. Like I remember my dad used to like listen to the Offspring a bit. I
Yeah.
suppose yeah, I missed that like Offspring. Man, loved Offspring, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know really. I liked everything. I liked a lot of like trance,
Yeah.
like EDM stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I just like everything. I love my grunge, man, especially like now. I think for me, grunge,
Mhm.
Stained, Break the Cycle is like my favorite record. I love all that sort of shit.
I was just having a conversation with a different band actually about this because they were citing a lot of like grunge influence into what they like and what they listen to, and I was like, man, grunge gets such a bad rap for like killing
Mm.
metal, so to speak, and it's like
Yeah.
if you just like even take 5 seconds to look at what metal was coming out in the 90s, like it didn't die. There was tons of
Mm.
great stuff that came out in the 90s, and I think grunge kind of gets a bad rap for that. But they kind of pointed out it was like, yeah, they killed off like the 80s shit, like the hair metal and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah, no,
that
I agree with
actually
that for sure.
that makes more sense because
Yeah, I feel
that
like
was
the
on its way out
90s to like
anyways.
yeah, exactly. Like 90s to 2008 is the golden era, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
everything
that's I
everything
mean
that came out then.
That's a lot of stuff that I still go back and listen to uh, on the pretty regular basis. Like I have my favorites from those eras for sure.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think given that music now is so there's so many artists, there's so many people that can access like it's accessible to just write music now. You get your interface, you get a DAW, you could just start doing stuff. And I think back then, it was really original. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? It was just really setting it up. So that's, like you said, going back to it, that's why I go back to it because it was of a time and a place, and it was just that was the new thing, and it still feels that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely changed how I listen to a lot of music, especially with
Mm.
like streaming and YouTube and stuff. Like, excuse me. So having like that accessibility of it, if I would have had that growing up instead of like having to burn CDs or put stuff on an iPod, like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I probably would have discovered stuff way earlier. But I always say like you kind of discover stuff when it needs to be in your life, you know? Like you may not like
Absolutely.
something
Yeah.
at a certain age and then you get older and now it resonates with you and you're like, "Oh shit, why didn't I like this 10 years ago?" And now I like it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it made you appreciate it more. I feel like now I'm trying to, if a record comes out or an EP, I'll try and listen to the whole thing
Yeah.
instead of just putting on a song and being like, "Oh, I'll fast forward it to the chorus or I'll fast forward it to the breakdown." Back then it was like you got it, you listened to it, you were waiting for it to come out, and now I just feel like, it's missing that, you're missing that appreciation a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to think too, you know, you being in a band, that kind of thing's important. Like, I'm sure you guys strategically pick like your track list of how you want the record to unfold because in your guys' minds, like this is the flow of the record, you know, not
Yeah, for
necessarily
sure.
just these one or two songs.
No, absolutely. I think, it's a shame that you have to kind of think like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because you want it to be all listened to, and it is laid out that way. I mean, with the new Bound in Fear record, we were just kind of like we like all those songs equally as much as the others, and I feel the last track on the album, Lurking, is my favorite song. And it's
Oh,
funny
nice.
because it's becoming like the most played song on the album, and it's not a single. And it's just nice that people have obviously listened to it, and it's sticking with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's always interesting. I do kind of like peek at that stuff, you know. Obviously the record's only been out for like what, 10 days, 12 days almost.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
came out. It'll be a 2 weeks Friday.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, obviously the singles, because they came out before the record, those are going to have a little bit higher numbers. But when you see, like you mentioned, the other tracks that kind
Mm.
of start ticking up, you're like, okay, this is what's resonating with people over the singles. And that's always cool to kind of check out. I mean, I don't know how much that means to you guys, like those numbers, because it's, I don't know, it's just a strange thing, like as a listener, to be able to look at how many times somebody's listened to that song. I can't imagine from the band's perspective what that's like.
I think numbers are a really they're hard to not lock onto and watch them and kind of obsess over because I think at the end of the day they don't inherently show your ticket sales. You could
Right.
have 100,000 monthly listeners and your song's got all these streams, but then you can't even sell 50 tickets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think when you see that and you realize that it doesn't really matter. And I think if you care about your music for you, the numbers start to mean less. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always kind of like, uh, at least from a listener perspective, like you know, I'll have these conversations with friends, and I'll be like, you know, they'll say like, "Oh, well, yeah, this band has like a million streams or downloads or whatever," and I'm like, "That's cool," but like, it's like
Oh,
you said, it's like, well, how many people showed up to their show? You know what I mean? Like,
that's it.
yeah.
That's it. Do you know
It,
what I mean? Like, sorry, go on.
no, I was gonna say there was pretty. We don't get a ton of metal shows where I'm at here because we're kind of sandwiched in between two bigger cities.
Mm.
Um, so I'm kind of in like a smaller city in between those. And so when we do get a metal show here, it's kind of like a big deal. And I remember it was a pretty big band, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, this will definitely be packed out." And I go to the show, and it's like it's not even half full, you know,
Really?
in like this 1,000 cap venue. And I was like, "What
Man.
the hell?" And it wasn't on a weird night. It was like a Friday, you know,
Shit. Was
good
there
day
a big show
placement.
on in one of the cities next to them?
I don't know. That was the other thing. Is like they were literally going to one of those cities like the next night. So like maybe that's why some people didn't show up. But
Yeah. But I
man,
mean,
it was
you're in
so
the States. I mean,
strange.
like that drive's probably like what, 5 hours, 6 hours?
Now like two.
Oh, okay, fair. All right.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, okay. So where I'm at, I'm in between Nashville and Atlanta. I don't know if that means anything to you. But
No,
they're
I'm
both
I'm I'm,
literally.
I'm looking at it in my mind.
Yeah, yeah. So they're literally like Nashville's like 2 hours away and Atlanta's an hour and a half, and they're like big capitals, big cities.
Mm.
So, um, yeah, it's really strange. Sorry, it's really strange to see that happening. And I was like, man, like what? This band is like massive as far as
Yeah,
like if you
yeah.
look at their numbers and stuff. And then like I'll see other bands that are like technically smaller and they pack that freaking place out. It's like,
Yeah, it's
oh,
mental. It is mental. Like, I think honing in on what you're doing as a band like really matters in a sense of like with Pintglass, we've been just really dialing it in, like what our unique selling point is, what we want to do, what we're trying to say, which is having fun, like letting your hair down and just being a geezer. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And we are a small band in the grand scheme of things, and we just did a headline tour, and like basically all the UK dates sold out, and we were playing the same venue as like Crowbar and stuff, and
hell
it
yeah.
was really weird because you know we're selling tickets that bigger bands might not sell or vice versa, but it's just how your local pull is, what your pull is, where your market is. I think it's yeah, it's strange. I think it's mad.
Yeah, it's so I was gonna bring up Pine Glass later after we talk Bound and Fear, but since you brought it up, man, I let's talk a little Pine Glass right now.
Okay, cool.
Uh it's weird when you mentioned the band, I was like, I've definitely heard this before. And I forgot you guys did kind of like that split EP with Strangled back in like 2019 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, like I've definitely heard them before. And so, doing my diligence, I checked out the new record, checked out the videos, and immediately I was like, okay, I see what you guys are doing here, but I want to make sure, like, it's very tongue in cheek, right? Like what you guys are doing with the band, like kind of playing off that
Absolutely.
working class, kind of British vibe.
Yes. Yeah, it's like I think the best way I put it is, Guy Ritchie, obviously.
Oh yeah.
It's like if Guy Ritchie made a hardcore metal band.
Yes.
That's like it's the best way to put it.
Yeah, it's very fun, man. I was like, I watched a few videos that you guys have up, and I was like, okay, I enjoy what they're doing here. Like they're trying to have fun with this, like the average working man in England, like dealing drugs on the site. Like it's so fun. And then
Yeah,
the
man.
yeah, the Stella, gotta have the Stella.
Bosh.
Oh man, yeah. It was really fun to like kind of see that and where you guys are kind of taking it, and you got the
Mm,
look with the band with the
the
blazer
high vis and
blazers.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, high vis. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so with something like that versus Bound in Fear, you kind of get to have a different play on everything you do, and how is that for you? Kind of balancing those between the bands.
I think creatively it's really important for me, to be able to have something where I can be vulnerable. And it's Bound and Fear is basically just like poetry most of the time about
Yeah.
stuff that I, am feeling deeply about. And then Pint Glass, it's about just having fun, taking away the seriousness and just having a laugh with it. We'll write lyrics for a song and track vocals, and we can't even track because we're just laughing too much. So it's nice to have
Yeah.
the ebb and flow to be able to, have the opportunity to do both of those. So
So now in the one video, I believe it was I don't think it was Sight Mentality. It's the one where you guys are in the bar. How many like pints of Stella did you have on that bar? It looked like a couple hundred.
oh yeah, I remember Ben was like, I'm going to Tesco. I'm just going to buy as much Stella as I can. And I think he did. Think he did. I don't know. He had like just loads and loads of crates. Because, yeah, there's a shot where it like whip pans around
Yeah.
and it's just everywhere. Yeah, that was, yeah, what one was that? What's the one with Matt? It was PB Potap, Pint Glass by Pint Glass off the album Pint Glass.
Yep. That was it.
That's the one with like, we're all like walking to the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I was
hectic.
just like, damn, man. That I mean, that has to be fun to shoot though, too, because you can tell everybody's like having a good time with that
Yeah, for
video and
sure.
everything.
Like storyboarding it, we'll storyboard it. We'll be like, yes, we'll do this. And then he'll be up on a forklift, and then we'll just fucking drink a beer here, and then someone's gonna get hit with a hammer, and then there's cocaine. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's not real cocaine. Just
Right, right, right.
you know what I mean.
Oh man. Yeah, there's I always appreciate when bands, like, especially in metal, because a lot of it is like serious,
Mm,
but when you can kind of have a fun band that like doesn't take itself super seriously, but you can tell you still care about the music and just
for
having
sure.
fun with it.
I think like it operates as we are a serious band, and we do everything to a high standard. So when we do play shows and when we do these videos, we can have fun, and it is authentic. It is silly.
Yeah,
We are having a great time in those videos because we are. Do you know what I mean? And I think with a lot of bands trying to be like super mysterious and super weird, like that is their vibe. That is a vibe, but I feel like people just want to see the people in the band or the characters they are and be able to like relate to them or see it for what it is. So I think
yeah.
with Pintglass, like we're really trying to just have fun and let people in, and we wear a high vis, we sell the high vis. We're all Pintglass at that show. Like everyone is involved.
That's amazing. What's your guys' kind of writing process look like with that band?
So usually, I mean, back in the day, like we used to just Barney would write some instrumentals, and then I'd come over and I'd track with Barney.
Hmm.
So me and Barney started Pint Glass, and we started it. We were playing COD or Fortnite, and he was like, "We should start a band about working on site of being a geezer." And I was like, "Right, I'm gonna come around tomorrow." And we wrote the first song, "High Vis Hate," in like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we just dropped it. And it went well. And then we continued doing that, and then Barney's a really successful dubstep artist, so he had to leave to pursue that.
Yeah.
And then we got Nathan in, who's the guitarist and like main songwriter, and he was writing demos and stuff, and then we'd go up and track and write lyrics, and then Angus, who lives near me, he's the other vocalist of Pint Glass. Um, yeah, we'd just go to the pub and just drink beers and just write lyrics and be like, yeah, just have a laugh with it. But as of like the new stuff, we're really just trying to hone in on what we're trying to say with these songs and giving them a real core point. We're just writing. I think writing rap songs is really it's transferable for this sort of stuff
Yeah.
because you're trying to write something funny and silly over like really scary riffs. It doesn't quite come out. So yeah, we've been just sort of looking at different avenues with it.
Yeah, and I guess for you, as a vocalist, you get to show off like a different range too with this project, which I bet has got to be nice for you.
Yeah, I think like doing all the Bound of Fear stuff, which I love, like doing all the low kind of scary, more technical side of metal vocals, and then
Yeah.
Pint Glass is more. I'm literally it is there is no technique to half of it. I am just screaming like I would in a scenario at a pub, like you know what I mean. So yeah, it's fun. Like we get like some singing in there, some sing along stuff, and just shouty voice. It's fun.
Yeah, I like it's really interesting too, like when you hear that you can just get that different vibe from like all the different projects that you have.
I
That's
appreciate that.
that's good to be able to like delineate those things because sometimes when a musician does a different band, it sounds sometimes very similar or not far off from what they already do. It's just like a different name, something like that. But when you can like actually hear the tonal difference between everything, it's like, oh yeah, okay, they
Yeah, for
know
sure.
how to like make those things sound different, which I
Yeah, I think
appreciate.
I think it's important as well because it's like, what would be the point? Do you know what I mean? If you're just gonna
Yeah.
do the same thing in another project, you should just give that project the same amount of time. And I think there's a few people who have gone, "Oh, you don't sound the same," and I'm like, "Good, it's a different
Duh.
band." The mid screams and stuff. Some screams, they obviously sound the same,
Yeah.
but I try and have a different main vocal for each thing, definitely. So I'm
No, it
glad you
works
saw that.
because
Glad you saw that.
yeah, it feels like I'm getting shouted at by a worker on a job, and I'm like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be on this site. Like,
Yeah. Nah, definitely.
um, you mentioned Guy Ritchie earlier, so I got to ask, what are some of your favorite Guy Ritchie films, man?
Oh, it's got to be Snatch.
Yeah, that's definitely up there on mine too. I
Lock,
watched it
Stock,
not too long ago.
Oh, really? What, first time or just again?
No, just rewatched. Yeah, yeah. I usually do rewatches of stuff pretty often, but sometimes it's just like, cause I mean, when Snatch was like big for me, I watched it like almost constantly.
Oh man,
Like
it's so
being
good.
like 16, 17, 18, I was just like, yo,
Yeah,
put Snatch on again. Let's rewatch that shit.
yeah,
Um,
man. Bricktop, the best character ever.
yeah, oh my gosh. I couldn't believe was it Malevolence got him to come out on stage and introduce him. I was like, holy shit, that's pretty
Dude,
badass.
crazy. He's like, this is my fucking manor. I was like, that's the hardest shit I've ever seen. I was kind of like, damn, they got there first. Shit.
Oh, I know, I know. I was like, damn man, if there's any, I mean, like, uh, I could think of a couple other bands that like could utilize that kind of like introduction, but it was cool to see that they were able to do something like that. That's,
Oh, it's amazing,
you
man.
know,
They have, they really are leading like the UK metal scene. But the music that they produce is amazing. Their live performance, their merch, all of it, and they're great dudes as well. Like they really deserve it. They've been working a long time, and
yeah.
it's paid off.
Yeah, I'm curious. Well, I was in England probably like 10 or 15 years ago.
Oh wow.
Um, and I'm curious how the scene has kind of evolved from your perspective, being in it and everything. Like, is it thriving really well right now? Like, what's going on over there?
I think it's in the best spot it's ever been right now. I mean, there's so many tours on. I mean, pre-COVID, I feel like not as many people went to shows really. I think
Hmm.
people, they were like, oh, there's a show on, I'll go next time. And then COVID hit, and I think people being deprived of that live experience, they just there was such an influx afterwards of people going to shows, and it has just stayed. And I think the fact that the metal scene and like just the genre in general is doing so well, it's booming just globally. You got bands like Not Loose, Lorna Shore. They're just,
Yeah.
it's like mainstream in some sense. And a lot of people say that's a bad thing. And I think people who say that are ridiculous because it's something you love. Why can't everyone else love it? You should want to show people this. So,
Yeah, I've never been to that mentality either myself of like
mm,
why wouldn't I want more people to know about this genre? It's actually really cool when I see this very unassuming person who I wouldn't think listened to metal and they mention something like Lorna Shore or Not Loose and I'm like, "Oh damn, like
yeah,
that's cool. Like, hey, if you're interested, here's some more bands for you to check out." Like,
yeah, it's great. And I
um
think, the whole TikTok stuff, like bands blowing up on TikTok,
yeah.
you know,
I heard recently that like Crowbar went viral on TikTok somehow, and I was just like, "What? How is
yeah,
like this
dude.
band's been around for like 40 years, 30 years, Like,
Yeah, it's mad shit, mad shit. Everyone's just like, all my friends are 250 pounds and this is a crowbar. And I'm like, fucking amen, brother. Drink a beer.
you brought up a really interesting point about COVID because you guys kind of got your start, around that time. Like you had the one album out in 2017, the next one in 2019, and then your last album came out in 2021. So you guys were kind of in the depth of all that shit going on when you're trying to like get the band off the ground. So how did that affect things kind of going forward with you guys? Because I'm sure that was a shit ton of
Yeah.
work to get out of.
That was definitely tough. I mean, we just dropped The Hand of Violence, um, and that record for us, like, it's still probably one of my favorite records. And it was at such a point in the band where I think we really found ourselves and our
Yep.
sound. And we did a headline show, it was going really good. There were talks of, doing a USA tour and all these other things. And then man, like COVID hit right at like the peak of sort of the album release. And after that whole thing of COVID, we came back and it was just sort of you had to kind of restart. You had to restart and try and put road work in again and try to get back to where you were. And it was hard. And I think there's a lot of bands that suffered, ended, and I also think that there are a lot of bands which came out of COVID, which, are doing really well now. That they were born in COVID, wrote all the tunes and stuff, and then, started touring again. But obviously bands which dropped just before it, I think they suffered a lot.
Yeah, because I remember definitely a lot of music that was out around that time, and you would hear stuff that was supposed to come out, and then like nothing would ever happen. Or like I've talked to bands who are like, oh yeah, I've actually been sitting on this material, something they put out like last year, since
Mm,
COVID. And I was like, holy
damn,
shit, just like 4 years of like not doing anything with music.
that's
I mean,
crazy. I mean, I
yeah,
can't. It is a great. I'm doing the same thing with another project, but I know what you mean.
mhm.
Yeah, it is weird, that you can sit on material for so long. It is weird.
Yeah, I mean it's been 5 years since your guys' last album, so like what has the band been kind of like doing in that meantime? That's a pretty long time to put out albums.
Yeah, that is a long time, isn't it? It's been a hard journey over those 5 years, to be like completely honest. I got quite ill about
Oh
three
shit.
years ago. I got a brain infection and I nearly died.
Whoa.
And that was that, we just came off tour actually. We just done like two big UK European tours, like 30 days each. And then the one before it, we were on tour with the last 10 seconds of life and stuff. And that was
Hell
like,
yeah.
they are my favorite deathcore band. So that was like a bucket list dream come true for me.
Yeah.
And the tour was great, man. Like, I mean, Tyler, their new vocalist, had just joined at that point. And man, like, I remember seeing the first show at Underworld in London and he ripped a scream
Oh,
and
I've been there.
his voice is, oh, have you?
Yeah. Yeah, the band that I used to work with, we did a little, sorry, not to interrupt and
No, you're
deviate.
fine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we that was one of the venues we played was Underworld. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, man. Great venue, legendary venue, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was very cool being there. It's like I wish I had taken more pictures during that time. Got nothing.
Well, you have to come back, mate. You have to come back.
I know, I know. I really enjoyed being there, man. Honestly, like I was kind of at odds with everybody because I was like, I fucking love it here, and they're like, this place is miserable.
Nah, it's all right.
um,
All right.
sorry, not to interrupt. So Tyler just joined, and you guys are playing Underworld.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, like he got up on stage, man. He was just ripping screams and like giving those old songs a new lease of life. And I think he's my new, favorite deathcore vocalist. Like he's crazy good live. So we did that tour, and then we got back, and then we played Pintglass played with Chelsea Grin and Kubla Khan, and then the day after that, Bound and Fear played with them at this like day festival, and then next day Matt invited me down to go see them play in London, and then like that night I got my brain thing, um,
Jesus.
and that was pretty tough. Like I was in hospital for a little bit. They put me into like an induced coma and stuff, and it sort of wiped my brain of working properly for I don't know. I'd say about 5 months. But
Really?
I'm good now. Yeah, I'm good now. Like
Yeah.
I think I'm better than I was in a sense of like I'm more empathetic now. I really try and take everything by the fucking balls and just do it.
Yeah.
Because I think, when you've ever near death experience, you get complacent. You don't realize how complacent you are in elements of your life. So I think during that period, we were writing this record,
Hmm.
um, A Mind Too Sick to Heal. And yeah, it was hard, man. I think that people, the guys in the band felt a bit of pressure to get it done because obviously it's like me and there was another member, Kier, who we were like the driving force of the songwriting. And he was, I asked him to keep writing and then I'd write the vocals and stuff. And he went through a bit of a turbulent point in his life. So it kind of took a
Yeah.
bit of time. And, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest, writing this record was hard. And there was a stage where we didn't think it was going to come out. And
Wow.
I think, going through that, we got there in the end. And the writing process after that, coming back to it, post brain thing, looking at lyrics and demos and stuff which I'd written before that, kind of I felt like a different person because my
Sure.
memory wasn't the same. And there was a song Lurking, which is the last song on the album, and that song's basically about like not knowing who you are, but you still try. And I recorded that before my brain infection. And I think
Oh
listening and
wow.
like the vocal takes are like, I was like crying when I did them and I really sent it. So listening to that now, I think it does a lot for me. I mean, this album says it's, a massive point in my life, journeyed, looking back at it. I'm very proud of it, very proud of what we've done. And I think that there's a lot for people to find in it. And I think, you know, emotionally, like lyrically, you know, it's not just heavy, you know, we're trying to be heavy for a reason, like having big
Sure.
breakdowns, but you know, you're saying something which wants to connect with people. Do you know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, yeah. That's something I've always picked up on from the beginning is like you guys write about like, very personal,
mm,
deep shit. It's not just about
yeah,
like
man.
zombies and uh, you know,
Yeah,
horror
yeah,
films. Which
dude.
hey, I love that shit too. But
For
I
sure.
connect more when I know it's on like a personal, how can I relate it to my life? And I think that's like the weird thing as a writer is like I'm sure you run into this where somebody has their own extrapolation from the song of what they get from it versus what the song is about, and kind of being like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, that's cool, man." Or
Being
do
able to
you
make
do
it
you
its
ever
own
run into
experience.
that?
I think a little bit. I think I try and make the points nuanced enough so you get the core, but you can take away from it something for you. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Definitely. And I think, especially with some of the new stuff, I've tried to write it to be interpreted that way. And it's just sort of like a more overall feeling. Absolutely.
So I'm curious, man. If this is too personal of a question, please feel free to be like, "Nah, I don't want to answer that." But as far as like having kind of this near death experience, dealing with your own mortality and everything like that, when you kind of came out of it the other side, and you started, did you like kind of reevaluate everything in your life that you were doing to try and like make sure your health is good, how you feel about things, your outlook on the world, like kind of what was your mental state after that, I guess is a better concise question of that.
Yeah, yeah, no. No, it's a good question. It was a lot. I think it all everything you just sort of said kind of hits at once a little bit. And I think I felt very distant from a lot of people because of certain things I won't divulge into.
Sure.
But I spent a lot of time like writing like rock music. And I've been writing a lot of that. I still do, and I'm gonna be releasing that at some point. So that
Hell
really
yeah.
helped carry me through that experience. And the Pintglass guys as well, like about a few months in and stuff, you know, there was some member changes and stuff, and they really stuck by me and stuff. They were really, really good to me. And I remember they didn't know what things would trigger and stuff because obviously I had a seizure when it happened as well. They were like, "Yeah, you can't play any shows," and I was like, "Well, that's not gonna
Jeez.
happen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will die if I. That's what I'm here to do, man. Like I found my calling, and that's what I'm gonna do." And I remember literally like 2 months later, I played a show in Europe with the Pint
Hmm.
Glass guys, and I shouldn't have played it. Like it was too much for me, but I did it. And you know, but the thing was, is they were really understanding, and they knew that I wasn't in the right frame of mind. You know, I wasn't in a good spot, but you know, they were there for me, and they gave me that space to not be okay, but knew that.
Yeah.
And I think looking back at that, there are a lot of people that didn't do that. So it's tricky. Do you know what I mean? But I think that was really good. Like the Pint Glass guys really helped me with that. And, you know, turned out I could play shows. So that was good. I'm glad I went and did it because if I didn't, you
Yeah.
know, fucking. Yeah, doing that, I think lyrical wise, like lyrics and stuff, I kind of put a lot into the rock stuff. There's some in the Bound and Fear record, but me and Barney, we started a new hardcore band called Hounds of War.
Yeah, I checked that out
Um,
too, man. Yeah.
that's like I'm really that was fun to do that because obviously me and him wrote Pint Glass and me and him he's my best mate, you know, we'd meet up and write tunes anyway, but we were like, oh, we miss writing together. So we started that. Um and that was a good experience. There's some lyrics in the Hounds of War songs which really sort of talk about the near death experience and stuff and the impact of that. So yeah, that was good. I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird time to look back at, and I think for anyone, you know, you go through something like that, it kind of feels like a blur and it's all a bit strange really, but I'm in a good spot now and it was the best thing that happened to me. Like I
Yep.
like hands down was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me because, you know, just tried to just push everything as much as I could. You know, we did that split with Pete and Flesh, we did the fucking Pint Glass album, we've done that, you know, the new Bound of Fear album. And I think that was kind of like I can't, you know, you can do it. You can do anything that you set your mind to, no matter how hard things can be. So yeah. Sorry,
Yeah, I mean,
I went on a bit of a spiel then.
No, that's great, man. Like that's kind of like, it's what I want to get out of this. Like I like to get a little more personal than just like, you know, tell me about this riff you wrote or this lyric you wrote. You know? Um, but I mean, here's a cliche question, I guess. Is the name of the album "Mind Too Sick to Heal" kind of like dealing, like the name with the brain issue and everything?
I mean, I suppose in some ways it can be for that. It was
Mhm.
more, I mean, the album title and the album itself, like we were saying, is we've always trying to been speaking about mental health and being honest and everything like that. And it's kind of a synopsis of all the songs in the album. Are mind too sick to heal? Are you too far gone in yourself to feel like you can be fixed or be helped? But you're not. You can always be helped, and there is always a way through that. But it's basically saying in that moment in time, like, are you? Am I? And it's hard. And I think it's just expressing the reality of that because it does feel like that. So that's more
Yeah.
of what the album title means. And I think the song, obviously the title track, "A Mind Too Sick to Heal" on the album, that's a really sad song that me and Keir wrote together. But that's my favorite song on the album. It's just basically like a poem put into like a industrial, like sad industrial heavy sound design, and it's like I fucking love it. It's my favorite track on the album personally.
Yeah, it gives me a little Godflesh vibes when I listen to it, just a little bit, not
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
overtly, but I was like, oh yeah, I can see what they're doing here with this. Yeah, you guys took a lot of like tonal, I guess like I don't know, chances, if that's the right word. You guys tried a lot of different stuff on this record, like with
Mm.
kind of like putting, at least in my opinion, it seems like you guys really kind of open up more with like genres that I can see you're all kind of influenced by in the writing of this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I was saying, I love singing, man. Like I really love it. I love Slipknot. I really wanted to get some singing in there without
Mhm.
taking too much away from what we are. And I feel like, when there was singing, I was like, right, I'm gonna have to really make up for this, and I'll be really heavy on the next bit. So yeah, I'm glad that we could fit it in, and I feel like it fits in the world of Bound in Fear and the sound. Like I think we made it work well. It's not just kind of like singing section that doesn't work. It kind of molds in, and then the old stuff there's some interludes and stuff with some little singing and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that we can make it a bit more of a prominent part of the sound, and it worked.
Yeah, no, it definitely is like it's nice to kind of break out of that box. I could tell like with the singles you guys were kind of drip feeding over the years too. Especially I
Mm.
think
Sentenced.
yes, sentence,
Okay.
perfect. Yeah, when you guys put that out, I was like, okay, they're definitely trying some stuff here. And like when the album finally came out, it was like, okay, yeah, this is I could see where they were like trying to like push these like genre boundaries for what the band wants in their sound now. And it's
Mm.
really nice to like when you get like we talked about getting the total package of everything and listening to the
Yeah.
album front to back and seeing where you guys were like trying to experiment with that kind of like different sound for you guys.
Mm. I feel like Sentence, man, I mean, we wrote that song pretty rapidly, to be fair, like the core of it. And then when we got to finishing it, we were like, now we want to make the end a bit different, not just a big breakdown. Obviously, there's the big vocal build, really scary, really a lot. And then I was like, the slowdown, I don't want to scream, I want to like speak. And
Mhm.
to be just kind of really haunting, like just super unsettling. And that song kind of set like the level of like how much of that we want in the album. That's sort of more of a direction we want to push for it instead of just being like more breakdowns without having any weird elements. So I think, yeah, that song really sort of set the bar for it for us.
Yeah, it's so when you guys are like kind of writing, how are you, I guess, like putting the songs together with, after you're kind of coming out of your injury, trying to get back into things? You said you had like some stuff kind of written and you were kind of like picking back up from there after that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
it was kind of like, go on.
I was just gonna ask, like, so when you kind of like have to get your mindset back into writing for the band and everything, how long a period of time was that kind of like leading up to the record before you guys kind of went to record, you were ready to record the record?
Mm. think it was quite a few months, man. I think it was probably about 8 months.
Damn.
I think that was
Okay. Yeah.
because there was, I felt a bit disheartened with how some things were handled and stuff. But that's just I wasn't in a right frame of mind. So,
Yeah.
it's understandable in that sense. But I think coming back to it, it was hard. There were songs there which were good, but they weren't what they are on the album now. Do you know what I mean? So, the killer of it, I think, as a songwriter, is sitting on something for too long when it's not finished. Like if you're sitting on something finished, that's fine, like it's done. But
Yeah.
if you sit on something for ages and ages and ages, and then you're like, oh, we have to finish this now, but you can't hear it any other way. So there was a few tracks which were kind of like that, which they're not on the album. Um, but I don't know. It just kind of happened, really. It just sort of happened. Like I said, like my memory around that time is a bit poor.
Sure.
But it came together when me and Keir, we would write everything, and then we went away to Wales to Sam, our bassist, sort of like family home, and
Mhm.
we wrapped up a load of other songs and stuff, which was good. And then Keir parted ways with the band for his own reasons, and me and Ryan, the producer of the album, who's a friend of mine who lives not too far from here, amazing producer, like crazy good. Ryan Wood, his name is. He mixed the album, and he put a lot into it, and we tweaked a lot, and it came out really well. So yeah, but this album wouldn't have happened without Ryan. Ryan really helped us out, and really pushed it. And he's been a friend of the band and listened to the band as a fan before that. So he was like, right, we've got to do this. We've got to give it this. And, he smashed it. I love it. I think his mix is crazy. Like it's very loud and heavy.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit, it's very clipped, but I
Was
don't
this the
mind.
first time you guys worked with him on this new record?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
Okay.
we wanted to work with Ryan before, but we just went with Keir because, don't break something that's not broken in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we went with Ryan, and yeah, he smashed it. But Ryan's mixing a project of mine, which is like the rock thing I've been working on, and he's just got a really good ear for it, man. He's like UK Will Putney. He's really good.
Hell yeah. I like that. I like that. Yeah, no, I mean the record itself, like you mentioned, it's definitely like a force. It's mixed. Um I I don't think I asked this. Who did you record with for Pintglass?
Simone Petraforte, I think is how you say his name. He's a
Okay.
producer from Italy. He's amazing, really, really good. Um, I've spoken to him off and on for quite a few years and stuff, and we were going through producers for the Pint Glass record, and we went for a few people. We went with Buster,
Yep.
who does obviously Humanity's Last Breath and everything, and then Keir, and then we went to Simone, and he did a test mix. We were like, oh, that's it, that's fucking it. You know what I mean? And it was weird because Pint Glass has always been, it's had on purpose kind of a bit of a silly edge to the production.
Sure.
And he fucking sent this test mix back, and it was just so seriously heavy. And it kind of made us all laugh because we weren't anticipating how heavy it was going to sound. Um, like when we got what was it? Geezer Life Till Geezer Dead. There's a breakdown in that, and it just sounds like a fucking nuke's gone off, and it is mental. So yeah, like he fucking smashed the shit out of the album mix. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way the sound is on like when you guys kind of when the guitars do like kind of I guess those ring outs, where it's like you're about to play the note, but you hear like the harmonic kind of come from it before they like get into it.
Mm.
Man, those sound clear as shit, which is really nice. I like that.
Yeah, Nathan smashed it. Like he obviously me and him wrote most of the instrumentals together, and then he wrote the majority of the rest of it on his own and stuff. And then same with like lyrics and stuff. Like me and Angus, I tracked me and Angus's vocals, and Nathan handled all the guitar tracking, like all the prod. Like he fucking smashed it. It's really, yeah, he really did a really good job on it.
The Breakfast Crew song. I know we're going back to Pint Glass now, but it's
Yeah,
funny
it's
because it's
fine.
like I kept thinking of stuff after we got done talking about it. The Breakfast Crew song.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
Man, the last like I mean the whole song is hilarious, but the last like 30 45 seconds when you're just saying the
Oh,
ingredients of
dude.
English breakfast.
Dude,
Oh my God.
breakfast gang, breakfast gang, breakfast gang. Well, my breakfast gang, man. When we were recording that, I was like, we can't do that. We have to scream. It was like, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna speak it. Oh yeah, and then the bacon beans, yeah, and then the
Yeah.
fucking order. Yeah, we were meant to get Big John. We got a cameo off Big John. You know who Big John is?
I don't actually. Or I'm sure once
He's
you say who it is, I'll probably know.
he's like the big geezer who orders loads of Chinese, and he has all the Chinese orders.
Oh no, I don't know him.
Look him up. He's like,
Okay.
he's a fucking big English geezer. He likes his food. And we got him to do a cameo, and then yeah, we put it into the song and it was a breakfast order. And that was on the build. And then he was like, yeah, I want a load of money if you're gonna use it. And we were like, well, fucking can't do
Oh,
that. Can't do that.
damn, man.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I that's always kind of I guess a weird situation to be put in where it's like, we already paid you for this one thing, but now you want more money for us to do a different thing with it. I get
Yeah, it
it.
was like a fair few
People
grand
gotta
as
make their
well.
money. Woo!
Do you know what I mean? I was like, fuck yeah. Maybe another time. The goal is, I mean, for me, Danny Dyer.
Oh man, that'd be sick.
Man, he's the guy. Or like Craig Fairbrass. Like those two, man. I want them on a song or like narrating an album. Like that's the goal, really.
I I man, this is gonna sound so stupid, I guess. I don't know, but like I am very into like British culture, I guess you
Mm,
could say. So about 3 years ago, I don't remember what season it was, but are you aware of the show Taskmaster?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So there was a guy on it who was a comedian. His name was Jamali Maddox, and he would talk and he'd always be like, "Bruv, hey, bruv." And so like ever since then, like just jokingly, I'm always like, "Hey, what up, bruv?" Just because
Yeah,
it
sick.
sounds cool. I love the way it sounds, And it's like
Yes,
I've
bruv.
gotten all these weird little like mannerisms from random British stuff that I enjoy.
Is he the guy with the
So
glasses?
yes, yeah, he does the
Yeah, yeah,
glasses.
he's a funny fucker. He's funny, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
bruv.
man. Yeah, yeah. It's like, hey, bruv, can you get me some fucking drinks?
You got bruv. I mean, my favorite's Mush. All right, Mush.
Okay, what's that?
Mush is just like, all right, mate. All right, Mush. Or you could be
Okay,
like, calm down, Mush. I don't know, Mush.
okay.
Chavy. Chavy's a good one.
I know Chav. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You go,
There's
all right,
cause like
Chavy. That's good.
there's different like dialects too, right? I don't know all of them. I know there's like a northern, which is like a Christopher Eccleston. He does like a northern accent on some stuff.
Yeah.
There's I
You
don't
got
know
the
why we're
South.
talking about this.
You got South. I'm like south of London,
Okay,
like about 50 minutes out of London. Yeah, you got the North, like Manchester, and then you got Newcastle. Newcastle's serious though. That's like
okay.
that's serious accent. And then Scotland. Yeah, it's fucking mental. And then Yorkshire. Yeah, it's fucking you can literally but these places are like you go an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and it's like fucking completely different. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? That makes sense here, man. Like, we got like southern accents and then we got like those California and then like northern accents where they say different like words for stuff that, they like we have sodas, but like up north they call them pops and they got this weird like accent on the O. It's like a pop. But we're like, soda, you mean? It's
Oh
so
yeah, I
funny.
got you.
I don't know. Accents are funny to me. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's weird the stuff that like influences from another culture, and I always find that interesting, like how much British media I consume, where I'm just like, I pick up these stupid slang words and then I say them, and I'm like, well, I'm not British, like maybe I shouldn't, I
Nah, bruv's
shouldn't
good,
say it.
mate. I think bruv should be universal, man. Everyone should say bruv.
Yeah,
Best word ever. Right, bruv. Yeah, 100%.
yeah. My Australian buddy, he taught me bogan, which is like basically their word for like a redneck. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
which I don't know what that would be like in your guys. Maybe chav. I think it's like a redneck. Like
Redneck. What? I mean, what really is a redneck? I mean, what is a redneck?
Yeah. So I mean, in my opinion, a redneck is kind of like a guy who lives in the South that is kind of poor and not well educated.
Right.
They have certain political leanings, that kind of stuff
Got ya.
too. They're kind of, that's what we call a redneck, basically.
Right.
It's kind of a derogatory term, I guess, but
Yeah, yeah. I'd say
you
yeah.
know,
Well, I'd say a chav. Yeah, a chav.
okay.
A chav. Yeah, it's got to be a chav. Yeah. It's funny because a lot of people think I'm a bit of a chav, and I'm not. I'm not. I just I come from like a working class background. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't have much money growing up. Um, but I'm not like you get an accent, but you're not what that is. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
Right.
definitely like it, especially in the South, like you get like people. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Basically, what you said. I'm not going to go into it. I could go on for ages.
Yeah, it was really funny to me because like I feel like I don't have that much of a southern accent. Like it slips in and out every now and then with certain words. But when I started living out on the West Coast and was like working with bands out there, they would give me shit all the time for my accent, and I was like, I don't have an accent. I don't sound like I'm from the South. And they're like, no, you do. I was like, damn it, man. But they know it, because they're not used to hearing it. They know they can pick up on that shit, which is so funny to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. No, I know what you mean for sure. Yeah, pint
Um,
glass in that. Sorry, go on.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, pint glass in that sense. We try and encapsulate the working class man and everything like that, especially with like, we are that with the accent, like, half of us work on site and stuff and the slang and the everything and how we say shit. Yeah, it's funny, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate that though, It just shows that like, you're being like authentic about your life and like what you do outside of music.
Mm,
So I wanted to ask, obviously Ozzy passed away last year and you being in England, how like was that in the country? Like I don't know, like I don't have any like reference of like I know he's like, you know, outside of the
yeah.
Beatles, like who is there bigger? Bowie, he passed too. Like
Mm.
how was that like kind of when he passed over there?
I think it was quite surreal. Obviously, he's a legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
The bands wouldn't be doing what they're doing without, what he did for the genre, like making it, basically. I think,
Yeah.
the amount of people at that show was just crazy. We were playing a show the same weekend.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
and I just remember just the fact that what was it Alice in Chains, Metallica, Rage Against the Machine. I mean, those are a few, but the fact that those bands being that big would play for like 2 hours in an arena and they're playing for like 25, 30 minutes is just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, it
know.
was
I think no, sorry.
I was just gonna say it was kind of surreal to me too. Like I know, not growing up in England, I don't have as much of a reverence of like, where he came from and like
Mm,
what the band really did in your country for like music. But obviously it
yeah.
permeated over here enough to where like,
Mm,
we all got full blown genres out of it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just like we're starting to see now these guys that like had started the genre, they're getting up there in age and they're dying and it sucks and it's crazy that it's happening.
It
But
is
I mean,
sad. It is sad, but I mean, I didn't really grow up nor listen to Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne, but I think it was, don't know how to phrase it. I feel, that he needed that show. I feel like, that was it. I think he was happy after that. And, the fact he passed, shortly after that is tragic, but, at least he got to, do that send off and do that final show. And it's legendary, it's literally probably
yeah,
like the most legendary thing in one of the most legendary things in music. It's crazy. But I will say that young blood, when he jumped up, man, that blew me away.
yeah, that whole performance was like extremely surprising. And I was like, holy shit,
Mm.
like everybody was here for it. And like, yeah, like you mentioned, man, he kind of just went out on his own terms, which is like very Aussie like.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not being in the country and having that perspective. I was just kind of curious of like how it kind of permeated over there with everything like what because I do kind of remember seeing when Bowie died, like people were like literally out in the streets and like
Mm.
in his Ziggy makeup and everything like that, and I was like, holy shit, like we don't have
Damn.
anything like that over here.
He was more like, I think he's from Birmingham.
Yeah.
And obviously where I live, that's like 4 hours away.
Okay.
So it was quite far away, but apparently, like the hotels for the show, like everywhere was booked up. There was just people out, just going out, being there. Yeah, it was mental.
Damn.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's it's sad, but that's life, man. We're all gonna go that way. It's just,
For sure.
I'm sure, like, like you mentioned, having that near death experience and getting older, you kind of have to start facing that mortality, and it's kind of strange to like
Yeah.
extrapolate that in your head, man, and just be like, oh man, I could just die someday, and that's it.
Yeah, I think it is weird. I think like because it happened and I was like, oh man, like there's so much I want to do.
Yeah,
It kind of made me go into hyperdrive a bit. I was just, like I've got to fucking just do it. It's got to go out and get it, just do all this shit, try my best, and just if people are pulling you down and slowing you down, like you gotta get rid of them, man. You just gotta don't let people slow you down. Don't let people tell you can't do something. And don't change your life to try and live someone else's narrative. Like you're there to do you and you just gotta do it because yeah, you just can't not do it. You have to.
yeah, that's really good advice, man. Yeah, that's if anybody listening to this, take that from this episode. Um, One last thing I want to touch on here. The record's been out for probably by the time people see this, like, actually, I'm gonna try and get this out today, but we'll see. Uh, Editing can take a while. But the record will be out for almost 2 weeks. What are the plans going forward in the future for Bound in Fear, like shows?
Mm.
What's the possibility of states, especially with all the fucked shit that's going on here right now with TSA and
Oh
travel?
man, fucking hell, that's there's a lot going on, yeah, for sure. I mean personally, like our biggest fan base and audience is the States. I really, really want to get Bound and Fear over to the States next year. Like
Hell yeah,
we are going to I'm going to make that happen. I want it needs to happen for the band, for the fans. Really, like they've really supported us. Our label, they're an American label, and I'd like to obviously play those songs out there. We've got Bloodstock this year, which I'm really looking forward to. Bloodstock
ooh,
Festival.
nice.
Um, and yeah, we're just working on some new stuff, just figuring it out. Really coming out of sort of the tribulations we've had, and I think we're in a really good spot now. It's nice to have it out. It's kind of it's out there, and it's kind of that whole process is finished. Be it bad, some of it with it, but man, like it
Sure.
was a journey, and I'm proud of it. And there's a new lease of life, and there's new energy amongst us all, and we really want to push it. So yeah, States definitely, hopefully next year. That's the goal, really, and just get on some good tours, tour the album, and yeah, I don't know, really. That's it. Just enjoy it, really. I mean, at the end of the day, like I live a very like I'm just a normal bloke, man, just trying to have a
Yeah.
good time, do this shit, and life is hard. Like my brother, he's profoundly disabled, and I look after him with my mum and stuff, and
Damn, dude.
times are tough, man, and I think
Yeah.
the band and music is an escape in some sense, and I think I mean, this is just very, I suppose it's deep and it's just being honest, but if we can get out there, that'd be amazing. And I'd like to give it that that time because we've meant to go to the States a few times now and they've fallen through, which is a real shame. And I think, I'll be happy with that, man. I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I can imagine like the financial aspect of getting over here is a fucking nightmare. It's
Yeah, you're looking at
uh,
like,
and gas
I mean,
is really bad here right now too. It's so high.
oh really?
Yeah, and, I
Shit.
think out in California, there's some places it's like $8 a gallon right now.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's really
That is a
bad.
lot.
It's getting worse.
It's the
But
visas,
yeah, I
man.
mean,
Like,
yeah, and then you got to like rent gear. I assume when you're here, you got to pay for all your merch when you get here. Like
yeah, the flight. I think
so
it's
much
the
of an investment.
it's just even getting there. It's the American, government and stuff like getting the visa process is a lot. You must have done 10 to 20 headline shows, the profits of the bands, like high grossing profits. You've got so many aspects to look at your address, all your previous addresses, your parents' addresses. Like, it's fucking loads. You got anything on a criminal record, like, even if it's tiny, no.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot. But that's I think that's why there's a lot of UK bands which aren't really going out to the States that much that aren't big. Do you know what I
Sure.
mean? I feel like there are a lot of bands in the UK which are at a point where they need to go to the States, but it's hard to get over there. I mean, for example, Hounds of War, I'm not going to say who with, we got an American tour offer.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Okay.
and we were like, yeah, we're going to do this, sick. Spoke to an immigration lawyer, and they were like, yeah, there's no chance. Just no chance. Because we're a new band. And obviously, like the stats are good, and we're building up an audience in the States. It's just, yeah, it's not going to happen. So it's tough. It's definitely tough.
Damn. Yeah, that's the unfortunate side effect of like when shit is in upheaval like this is like we kind of suffer in the arts, you know? It's like
Mm,
what if you guys don't even make it over here on this album cycle, you know? And everybody here in the US is just kind of like, well, damn, when are we ever going to get to see this band live? Fly to
yeah.
England?
No, I know what you mean. I think but it's the financial side of things as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people taking merch cuts. I mean, luckily in the UK, that's not really a thing. If you're playing like O2 venues and stuff, they'll take like 20% or something, or the percentage, whatever percent they take. I don't know the exact figure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard, in the States and stuff, like every venue takes merch cuts. Like, it doesn't even
It's
matter if it's like
brutal.
200 cap.
Yeah, it's insane, man. Like I know when I was like touring, they were taking like 10%, which that's not a ton, but it's still like money the band earned where it's like,
Yeah.
why don't we get 10% of your bar cut? We
Yeah.
brought the people
Oh,
here to buy your booze.
yeah. I mean, that's a great point. That's literally a great point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, you got booking agent taking their percentage, you got your manager taking their percentage, you know, the upfront cost of the merch, and then them taking that. That's like nearly 40%.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's from what I last gathered with like merch cuts, it's like up to like 30% in
What?
some venues like the Live Nation venues. Man, they price gouge the shit out of
That is
bands.
insanity.
Yeah.
30%. You're better off just not selling it.
I know. There have been bands that have done that. They're like, "Hey, we're not selling merch in here. Come outside to our van and get the fucking
Yeah, sick.
shirts." But yeah, and it's made all the prices go up. Like shirts are like 50, $60 now, and I'm like, "Damn, dude, I remember when I could buy like four shirts from a band for that much
Yeah, that
money."
much money. Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, I think that, yeah, you make a good point there. There's a lot of bands doing like pop-ups at like coffee shops and stuff. They'll make like an experience out of it, and you can go get your merch there, and then they'll have like a limited amount at the show.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, man. Got to figure out a way to make that money around all these other people trying to make money off of you. It's
Yeah.
a little pyramid scheme.
And I feel like fees as well, like the baseline of fees for people sort of coming into the music industry, and with all these cuts and with all these people, trying to make money, it's hard. It's definitely hard at the beginning.
Yeah. So, all right, one last thing I want to end with here. I don't want to keep it too much longer. As far as Bound in Fear is concerned, and we'll just throw in all your projects. As far as the writing and recording process of making music, what is your favorite part? The part you look forward to the most when you're working on all this stuff?
Um, I think the doing of it, the writing of the lyrics, the sitting down and demoing vocals, I really like that. You sit down
Mhm.
and you demo something, and then you export it and you listen to it and you're like, oh, it actually sounds really good. Oh, I think I'm onto something here. And then you send it to your bandmates and they're like, oh, that's fucking sick. And, I think it's it's becoming what it needs to be. I really like that experience. I think, just all of it, it's a cathartic experience, man. Like writing, just being with it. I think that's why you do it, really. I mean, that's my favorite part of it all, really, is the writing and the playing live. What
Yeah,
people, the amount of streams it gets, like we were speaking about earlier. I think if your experience of writing something is good and you get something from it, then that's great. You just got to do it for you at the end of the day. You got to do it for you, and hopefully, people resonate with that, and it's great. But I think, yeah, writing the lyrics, man, I like getting a song and you can't stop listening to it. And, it's like 4 a.m. in your bed and you're just there, like, fucking writing it. And then you wake up and you're like, fucking straight on it. Yeah, it's good. I think
yeah,
that's my
you got
favorite.
you got like that creative like juices flowing. You're like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I know where this is gonna go.
I think as
Uh,
well, just writing with your mates. I think being able to be in an environment where you're creating something and it's, you're not just getting fucked up or like getting hammered or I don't do drugs personally, like, people doing drugs and stuff like, you're in an environment where you're creating something, it's good, it's beneficial for you, and then you can relax afterwards. Do you know what I mean? I think it's healthy. I enjoy that. I get a lot from that. I used to like going to the pub a bit too much, and I think, you know, putting that down and, doing more writing with the boys and stuff, it's great.
well, hell yeah, man. That's great. I love hearing that positive aspect of everything with the band. And you know, Ben, I just want to say, seriously, I'm glad you're healthy. You came out of everything on the other side of it, man. And I sincerely hope that like you guys get to come here. And congratulations on the record.
Cheers. Thank you very much.